voice of desperation. Most certainly that. And it was a bald-faced, bold abuse of power by the President of the United States.
We can talk now to Ameshia Cross, who's a political analyst and Democratic strategist. She joins us live from Washington, D.C. Thanks very much for being on the programme with us today. So what do you make of this recording? We heard Kamala Harris call it a bold abuse of power. Does that reflect your view?
It's definitely an abuse of power. It's also more of the same. We have seen from this president time and time again the efforts to devalue this election, the efforts to basically overthrow and bind votes where there are none. This is just the one time where we saw it not only on Twitter, but also heard it verbatim from the horse's mouth, having a conversation, meanwhile trying to basically shake down a Georgia state elected official, threatening him in addition to using quid pro quo to try to get him to, again, find these votes. It's really frustrating at this point because President Trump, it's over for him. The election cycle is over. November is all wrapped up and done. The thing that should be on his mind is the Senate race that is currently going on in Georgia, which is going to set the balance of power for the U.S. Senate. It's not his race. His race is over. The state of Georgia has actually certified, recertified, and certified again. They've counted 3 times, including a hand count. Trump lost. That's just it. And he seems to not be able to get over this. But more than that, what we see in this president is a desperation, is a forceful narrative around helping to, at all costs, destroy American democracy for everything that it stands for in order for him to remain in power. And that's dangerous.
So how do you think that the incoming presidential team should deal with this? Should they take action or should they just let it go?
Well, what we're seeing right now is that some leading Democrats, again, not from incoming President Biden, but we've heard some leading Democrats push to have the FBI investigate this call. What we know is that according to Georgia statutes, the Georgia state statutes, this was an illegal call. The information that he was trying to gather from this call, what he was trying to get Raffensperger to do in Georgia, adds up to election fraud. And by Georgia standards, that is illegal. Heck, by the standards of the federal government, that is illegal. So I think that there is something to be said there. But in terms of this next administration, what Biden knows is what he knew while he was on the campaign trail, that Trump and his acolytes are people who believe that America is theirs and that to take back America means to destroy the voices of minorities, particularly Black people. That's why President Trump's ire is on Georgia specifically, because the Black vote there eclipsed what he thought it ever could be. And because Georgia, for the longest, almost 30 years, has voted solidly Republican at the national level. That changed this year, and I don't see it going back anytime too soon.
So what impact do you think this recording will have, if any, on the Georgia Senate runoff election?
Well, currently we have millions of people, over 3 million people who have already voted. That is historic in and of itself in terms of early voting totals in a runoff election. And the majority of those people are not only Democrats, but they're African-American voters and they are younger voters. Those are voters that are very hard to get out in a general election, much less a runoff election. And I think that the momentum from November is spilling over into this runoff election. Not to mention what we've seen from the Republican Party as they continue to try to dissuade people about the election results, but also a lot of the racist rhetoric that has come out of the Senate campaigns themselves, and a lot of the push against voter access and accessibility for those who have historically been locked out of the polling places. I think that what we're going to see is more people turn out. We're going to see, and the push is still there, for people to show up on Election Day tomorrow. But the early voting totals in and of themselves paint a great picture for the state of Georgia. And I think that with the pushes that are happening on the ground there, we're going to see more of the same come Election Day.
Okay, great to talk to you, Ameshia Cross from Washington, D.C., the Democratic strategist. Thank you.